So this is the configuration we're going for, made from a Dutch Army poncho. Made this configuration for a bivvy bag camp. Sleeping bag, Gore-Tex bivvy and an air pad in a swag roll. So it's not even inside a backpack. I haven't even got the weight of that. And food, water and stove are on a webbing. That one there you're just seeing is a Dutch Army poncho. There are lots of others to choose from. I have this one here which is for trekking. It is small, it is lightweight when you want to put down a lot of miles without feeling the weight. This is sil nylon. This one is a poly, ripstop poly. It's a lot heavier, and the difference between nylon and polyester is that the polyester is heavier, noticeably heavier. What I've done is left a jacket in the back of this right against the fabric of the tent or the poncho, because the water coming down here can ingress some ponchos and not others. With my sil nylon poncho I put up a few days ago, it rained continuously for 2 days. Sil nylon, it shrunk, it collapsed, and it was damp on the inside even when it was erected. So if you have a sil poly, I would only keep that for summer use. When it gets wet, it sags, it loses its shape, and it just becomes loose, and you might wake up in the downpour with this on top of your head, and there's nothing you can really do about it. As where a polyester like this is a ripstop polyester, it will keep its shape regardless of how long it rains. Now that one there has been up for 3 days in the downpour, heavy downpour, and there's been no ingress of rain because I left my jacket on the inside, pushed right up against the side of the wall, and usually that encompasses damp transference. So let's have a look and see how much damp transference there is in this Dutch Army poncho. This is the wall here, and the jacket is in direct contact. It should be wet. You can see this configuration's made a floored area here where I can put a cook set, my night torch, things that I want to keep dry. So at the back where my head is, all nice dry, every single square inch this jacket is nice and dry. Remember, nylon, sil nylon, light, super light, compact, not great in heavy downpours to make a shelter. Remember, this is polyester, keeps its shape, noticeably heavier though. Considerations for you there. As a heads up, the rear of the poncho basher is up on the trekking pole, and you notice it has dual lines. On the front, a bit different. On the front we just have the one connected here. I'll show you the hitch we use for that, coming down and anchored out onto a slip knot here. And the big difference is my peg here has a mitten hook onto the adjustable loop, and that way it's always connected, ready to go. Give you a close-up of how this works. This is the line that holds the front pole, and I have a slip knot, fully adjustable. On my peg I have a mitten hook, baby mitten hook, that clicks into there and that stays there. I do not disconnect anything that guides out the back of the tent or the front of the tent, and then loose are the other pegs for the perimeter. But that's just me, you don't have to do this, of course. And these can stay in the pocket of my poncho. Lay your poncho out on the ground. We'll be staking it at this top left corner. There's a grommet about there and another one lower down. So they are the first two anchor points. After you've just put 2 stakes in, come over here to the right corner and put in your tracking pole. Let's bypass this grommet here. And come down to the next and peg this one. Let's come over to the opposite corner of where we pegged, which is here. Introduce a tracking pole and we'll hitch this in. And just fold over about maybe a foot, 8 inches, whatever you want. And once we got this, fold it down on itself and it makes Mickey Mouse ears like that. And then just fold them back on themselves and it'll make a hitch. Very easy to undo, not really a knot, a hitch. Let me take my glove off, I'll show you this again. To the end, fold some over. Fold this bit down to make the Mickey Mouse ears. And then these 2 back pieces, join them together here. And under tension that will hold just by wrapping some of the basher or the top over the top of the tracking pole and making that bite. And it's easier to do when you're not filming it, but I should be able just to do it almost one-handed and slip that little loop over, snug it up, and that is on. The height of the top here where we put the tracking pole, probably head height when you're sitting. Look out for the second grommet down from the top of the pole and just loosely peg it out. Now we can guy it out. To give myself some extra room on the inside and make sure it's not flapping about in heavy winds, I've closed off the hood of the poncho. I'm going to make that hitch and put that over the hood. Now what this is just the one cord folded in half with a slip knot on either end and a couple of stakes. So when I made that hitch to go over the hood, it was from the centre of that cord. And all I have to do is blow up my air pad and get in. That is it. Sometimes use a combination of foam and air, like I said before, so I have a backup to the air pad. but you can choose however you want to do it. Remember, if you're going to use a sill nylon basher like this, or poncho, mine collapsed in heavy wind and rain, so it's not designed for when it's lashing it down a bit of a storm. You want to switch up to a poly. The lime green one is a ripstop polyester, but I just don't like the colour. It's too stand out, but it's strong as old boots. If you want something that's a little more concealed as well for your wild camping, it's going to be this here, which is the Dutch Army poncho. Sometimes I do use a tent and a lightweight sleeping bag, lightweight pad, but that is in my lightweight hyper kit. This is not a lightweight hyper kit. This could be part of my bug out, but it's certainly part of my wild camping when the terrain is so uneven. Putting a tent down or putting a tent up, depending on your point of view, but putting a tent out isn't a viable option. You found a brilliant spot, but the terrain's all over the place. All I have to do is find somewhere flat enough for a bivvy bag, not the whole footprint of a tent. So this is a massive bonus for me. I really like it. It's simple to do. It can be erected on, let me have a count up. I think it's 6 pegs in about 2.5, maybe 3 minutes. You're going to get quicker at it the more you practice. But this is the Dutch Army poncho. If you haven't got one, look out for them. Go online. I got this for about £3 UK pounds. 1, 2, 3. Not even $5 US. So it is affordable. Look out for them. Look out for them on eBay and places like that. I got this on a car boot sale. I'm over the moon with it. I have got a full size basher British Army. That is a lot heavier than this. It's a lot bigger and it's just as airy and open, but for the duty it's going to perform, which remember is performing 2 tasks. It's a rain cover for me in the form of a poncho. I can wear it, I can take it off, and I've got myself a shelter for the night. A nice quick easy one that. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time on bexbugoutsurvivor. Happy trails.